Alright guys, Wes here, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to explore one of my most anticipated games releasing this year, Rise of the Ronin. Now when this game was revealed during the State of Play in September of 2022, I was immediately on board. It's been in development by Team Ninja for about 7 years now, and it's set in 1863 Japan. Our character is a Ronin, a skillful warrior free from all masters, with one mission to fight and forge a new era for Japan. Now Rise of the Ronin is a combat-focused action game where our character will wield everything from swords to guns and traverse the open world with a grappling hook, a horse, and a wing glider. So in this video, we're going to delve into the world of Rise of the Ronin and go over everything that you should know. We've got a ton of stuff to talk about, so check the video chapters for easy viewing, and without further delay, let's get into it. So getting into the game itself, Rise of the Ronin has been in development since 2015, as I just mentioned, and it's set during the Bakumatsu period of Japan's history. Apologies for the pronunciation, I probably butchered that, but just bear with me. Now this period of Japan's history is what Team Ninja's president called the country's darkest time, and something that most studios would shy away from showing. Team Ninja also described this game as the most challenging thing they've ever worked on, which is largely thanks to the fact that this is their first proper open world game. I've heard rumors that there's going to be 2 versions of the game, one censored and one uncensored, due to Team Ninja already getting into hot water with the Computer Entertainment Rating Organization of Japan because of all of the blood and gore. Given the fact that this is the same studio that made Ninja Gaiden, the amount of violence in Rise of the Ronin isn't too surprising, but if this censored and uncensored version is indeed real, and you live in a country where games often get refused classification due to violent content, you will still be able to play this game, I'm sure. It's not yet confirmed where the censored version is going to be released, but Team Ninja is coming prepared, so that's a good thing. Right now, the only confirmed country to be getting the censored version is Japan, but I wouldn't be too surprised if other countries are confirmed as we get closer to launch. Real quick guys, this video is sponsored by Atlas. Persona 3 Reload is the captivating reimagining of the pivotal game of the Persona series, faithfully rebuilt with cutting-edge graphics, modernized quality of life features, and signature stylish UI. You don't need to play previous Persona titles to enjoy Persona 3 Reload. The story is self-contained. Unleash and delve into the shadows of the chillingly realistic modern world in Persona 3 Reload, where the boundaries between the ordinary and the supernatural blur. Whereas most games take place in a more fantastical or science fiction world, Persona 3 Reload takes place in an alternate universe within the modern day, creating a recognizable or relatable, or if not unnerving experience. Engage in intense turn-based battles against menacing enemies, harnessing the unique strengths and weaknesses of your Persona repertoire to gain the upper hand. Unleash devastating combos, exploit enemy vulnerabilities, and carefully strategize your party's actions to achieve victory in the face of ever-increasing challenges, ensuring that no battle feels repetitive or predictable. It's the perfect place to jump into the franchise. It's available on Xbox Series XS, Xbox One, Windows, Steam, PlayStation 5, and PlayStation 4. Persona 3 Reload is available for pre-order now and launches February 2nd, 2024. So check out Persona 3 Reload in the link in the description or the pinned comment. And thanks again to Atlas for sponsoring today's video. So Rise of the Ronin is a combat-focused open world RPG that takes place in Japan at a time of great change. It's at the very end of the 300-year-long Bakumatsu period, set in the late 19th century, where Japan is facing the darkest of times as it struggles with oppressive rulers and deadly diseases, while Western influences permeates as civil war continues to rage between the Tokugawa shogunate and the anti-shogunate factions. Once again, pronunciation apologies. The game will have you playing as a work-for-hire warrior, a Ronin, set like I said in the Japanese Civil War or the Boshin War. Now there's been some leaks and rumors that the character will be completely custom made. However, they'll have a set backstory with a ton of history. Now let's go ahead and talk about some of the gameplay details, as this is the part that is most exciting. The map will be a totally explorable version of Japan with some major confirmed areas such as Yokohama, Kyoto, and Edo, and there will also be a ton of small villages and whatnot in between them as you travel from place to place. While the details are a bit scarce, we know that exploration will be a core component. I mean, you have a horse, a glider, a grappling hook, so that means there will be large areas to move around in the map. I'm hoping we get a state of play soon that shows more of the exploration, especially whenever you consider games like Ghost of Tsushima that completely nail it. I'm willing to bet that Team Ninja used Ghost as kind of a blueprint for their exploration. I mean, why would you not? Ghost of Tsushima literally nailed that aspect, so hopefully, like I said, they use a bit of the blueprint and then just do it in the Team Ninja fashion. Now, according to an interview with Game Informer, Rise of the Ronin will feature decision making that steers the adventure how we see fit. Conversations will feature multiple responses, and key story moments will have options such as choosing whether to kill or spare an assassination target. They continued by saying, don't expect a large number of these branches to present themselves during the main story, but completing certain side missions related to the main narrative or centering in on an important character will help you steer the overall adventure adventure toward one of the several endings, which all sounds really exciting. And I guess that also confirms that Rise of the Ronin will feature multiple endings. We don't, however, know the extent of these multiple endings. It could be as simple as one character living or dying. It's hard saying. Now, there's going to be a ton of historical weapons at your disposal, such as katana, pole arms, and even some early firearms. You'll be able to do some crazy modifications like setting your swords on fire for extra damage. And of course, you'll be able to parry attacks, a staple of melee-based combat in modern gaming. You'll also have a ton of traversal tools, such as a horse, a glider that makes you look like Aang, and even a grappling hook. But don't let the move to open world fool you into thinking that this isn't going to be as hard as other Team Ninja games, because the studio has flat out said in interviews that Rise of the Ronin is going to be just as challenging as their previous titles. But you'll also be able to approach combat scenarios stealthily if you're trying to avoid direct encounters. According to the Game Informer preview with Team Ninja, they said that the combat will revolve around studying and learning enemy patterns, which is obviously the case for most action RPGs. The interviewer then asked Yasuda if the game will punish death like in other Souls-like games, where after you die you have to retrieve something like runes or souls, to which Yasuda said it does. And with Rise of the Ronin, the game will have a progression resource called Karma. They also said that Karma is only one of the systems, and they've got another experience point system that players retain after death. So the Karma will most likely be a separate skill tree or just different skill points. Maybe there's going to be a separate skill tree that you can use Karma on that will allow you to unlock certain things, and then the experience points will likely be for other statistics. But that's just my personal speculation. They didn't elaborate further, so I'm hoping we get some more details about this in the future. Either way, I personally like the idea of blending the Souls-like leveling with a more traditional RPG approach. It honestly might be the preferred middle ground for me, as in some ways I like the challenge required in Souls-likes, where you have to collect so many runes to be able to level up, and then from there you could level up specific stats. But in others, I just kind of want to explore, beat up enemies, and increase my character level. Speaking of characters and relationships, there's also going to be a number of factions in Rise of the Ronin, all with their own motivations, and you'll be able to interact with all of them and figure out just who you want to side with the most. The Sabaku are a pro-shogun force attempting to maintain rule and order during the conflict. The Tobaku are a bunch of anti-shogun groups who have come together to restore imperial rule to Japan. The Obi, or Obe, or however you pronounce it, are a group of American and European powers who have gotten involved in an attempt to open Japan to foreign trade and end its isolationism, but it's unclear just how involved they're willing to be in the conflict in order to accomplish that. We also have a decent amount of information on some of the main named characters of each faction. In the Sabaku, we have Naosuke, the chief minister better known as Red Demon of Lee, who is working alongside the Western powers to open up Japan's trade routes. And we also have Taka Maruyama, a famous Gishi known for her wit. As part of the Tobaku, we have Ryoma Sakamoto, a Ronin of the formerly Tosa clan, who is trying to find the right path in the conflict. And we also have Kagoru Katsura, a level-headed and cautious man who served as a mentor for younger members of his former clan, the Choshu. And lastly, as a part of the Obe, or Obi, we have Matthew Perry, who is the Commodore for the US Navy, working to negotiate with Japan to open trade routes, and Rithford Elcock, a British diplomat currently on assignment to assess the value of Japan's global economy. And while he finds Japan's isolationism as barbaric, he also has a respect for their craftsmanship, so he may end up being a bit of a wild card when it comes to who he ultimately sides with. I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up butting heads with Matthew Perry and potentially even sabotages their efforts to bring down the Shogun, but then again, maybe I'm just reading too far into it. As of recording this video, there hasn't been much information for Rise of the Ronin in terms of trailers and gameplay, but I'm guessing the marketing is about to ramp up into high gear. Now, whether or not they plan on doing a state of play for Rise of the Ronin, or if it'll be just a PlayStation showcase we get in February, which I know a lot of people are expecting a PlayStation showcase to happen, but I've got a feeling that we'll just get a deep dive into the gameplay for Rise of the Ronin in the form of a state of play. They've been slowly drip feeding us new information in the form of different interviews like the Game Informer preview, and the PlayStation website also updated with the factions. We got an overview of the different factions, and it all looks really solid so far. I've seen a bit of skepticism in terms of Team Ninja's take on open world games, since that's typically not the style that they make their games, but I think they could pull it off. And the last thing I want to talk about is the digital deluxe edition for Rise of the Ronin. The bonuses include exclusive in-game item sets, including the Bando Warrior Armor set, the Japanese formal wear set, the Toyo Kunai paired swords, the Iga Ninja staff, a digital soundtrack, a digital art book, and then for the pre-order bonuses, there's the Iga or Iga Ninja's armor set, a ninja's katana, and then 4 combat styles that I won't even begin to pronounce. Rise of the Ronin releases on PlayStation 5 exclusively on March 22nd, 2024. So yeah, the game looks pretty good. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section. Hit the like button if you plan on playing Rise of the Ronin, And until next time, this has been Wes, and I will talk to you guys in the next video.